One of the most anticipated celestial occurrences of the year is approaching, and if you live in North America, don't miss it. On April 8th, a total solar eclipse will sweep across the continent, the second of 4 in 2024. Totality, in which the moon totally hides the sun, will cross North America, beginning in Mexico and proceeding across the United States to Canada. The greatest duration of totality will be approximately 4 minutes and 28 seconds, which is twice that of the 2017 Great American Eclipse. While totality will be seen from 15 states, all 48 contiguous states will view a partial eclipse with the next opportunity, not until 2045. What makes this eclipse even more thrilling is the possibility of seeing a comet return after 71 years. Comet 12P Pons-Brooks, often known as the Devil Comet, will pass close to the Sun on April 8th. If the comet's brightness rises in the days leading up to the eclipse, it will be a once-in-a-lifetime chance to observe a comet when the moon completely covers the Sun during the day. Aside from the comet, you may see the brightest planets in the sky, which will appear during the total eclipse. On April 8th, as everyone is staring up at the sky and marveling at the arrangement of the celestial bodies, you should be aware of 5 amazing experiences to have while witnessing a complete solar eclipse. So make sure to watch the video until the end. The solar eclipse promises a spectacular light show, but after all of that stargazing, you don't have to stop there. A total solar eclipse is separated into 5 major stages: first contact, second contact, totality, third contact, and fourth contact. The first contact signals the start of the partial phase of the eclipse. From an observer's perspective, it marks the moon's first observable encroachment on the sun's disk. The eclipse technically begins at this time, although the sun is just faintly veiled, so without adequate solar viewing equipment, it may not be immediately visible. Wear eclipse glasses or solar filters to safely see the partial eclipse as the moon gradually covers the sun's disk. The solar eclipse will start at 11:43 Eastern Daylight Time, or 15:43 Greenwich Mean Time. A partial eclipse will be seen in all 48 contiguous U.S. states. The Solar Eclipse Timer app can tell you exactly when each phase of the eclipse will occur based on your location. Between first contact and the commencement of totality, you will witness a succession of breathtaking changes in the environment, as well as the look of the sun and sky. After first contact, the moon continues to obscure the sun, resulting in a noticeable fall in daylight brightness. This darkening is slow and modest at first, but becomes more noticeable as totality approaches. The quality of light improves with stronger contrasts and an unsettling atmosphere. Shadows sharpen and the sky's color gradually transforms, with the vivid blue of sunlight beginning to darken long before totality arrives. During the partial period of the eclipse, the shadows exhibit an unusual behavior. Objects such as tree leaves or colanders used to view the eclipse cast crescent-shaped shadows on the ground. This occurs when the spaces between the leaves or holes in the colander function as pinhole cameras, projecting a picture of the partially covered Sunday. About 10 minutes before totality, the sun will appear as a slender crescent. This crescent thins and sharpens as totality approaches, providing a visual countdown to the time of complete coverage. Minutes before totality, you should notice 2 magnificent things around you. The first is a temperature decline. One of the most noticeable consequences of a solar eclipse is a drop in temperature, which is felt physically by those in the path of totality. As the moon covers more of the sun, the amount of solar energy that reaches the Earth diminishes, resulting in a noticeable reduction in temperature. This decrease can vary depending on geographic location, time of year, and local weather conditions, although drops of 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit are typical. The second is animal behavior. The approaching totality of a solar eclipse has considerable impact on wildlife, with many animals exhibiting dusk or nighttime behavior. As the environment darkens and cools, animals may become confused, assuming that twilight has arrived. Many birds may begin to settle down, with some returning to their nests. Nocturnal insects, such as crickets and mosquitoes, may become more active as night falls. But don't remove your eclipse glasses yet. Some extremely fascinating things start happening in the final few seconds before totality. Observers are rewarded to two breathtaking and much anticipated events. The first are Baily's beads. Baily's beads are named after Francis Baily, who originally described the phenomena in 1836. They appear right before and after totality. As the moon moves to entirely cover the sun, imperfections in its edge, such as mountains, valleys, and craters, enable sunlight to shine through in certain areas but not in others. As a result, a necklace of bright dots appears around the lunar profile, resembling beads against the darkening sky. These beads are fleeting. They fade as the moon travels over the sun, leading up to the moment of totality. The second is the diamond ring effect, which appears shortly after Baily's beads disappear, indicating the final few seconds before totality. This phenomena occurs when there is only one bead of sunlight left, gleaming brilliantly against the backdrop of the moon, obscuring the sun. The contrast between the bright bead of light and the ring of the sun's corona visible surrounding the moon is similar to a diamond ring. The diamond radiates great brilliance, whilst the ring represents the corona's glow, which is now visible. This signals the start of the eclipse's most spectacular phase, totality. Totality is the phase in which the moon totally covers the sun, that is visible only on a small portion of the Earth. This brief period transforms the day into an eerie twilight, revealing solar features that are not visible under regular conditions. The moon completely obscures the sun's dazzling photosphere, making it the only phase of the eclipse visible without protective glasses. However, make sure you have your eclipse timing app ready so you can put on your eclipse glasses before the moon crosses the sun's disk and Baily's beads show on the opposite side. The most noticeable feature visible during totality is the sun's corona or outer atmosphere, which looks as a pearly white crown with streamers stretching outward. The corona is millions of degrees hotter than the sun's surface, and it is only visible to the naked eye during totality. Throughout the rest of the eclipse, make sure to wear your eclipse glasses. Keep an eye out for red and pink filaments or loops that extend from the sun's surface. These are prominences composed of cooler, denser plasma than their surrounds. Because they last only a day or two, any prominence you notice will be specific to that moment. Another remarkable feature of totality is the 360-degree twilight. It gives the illusion of a twilight glow along the horizon in all directions. This is generated by the moon's shadow blocking the sun's light in the totality route, but locations outside this path get sunlight, resulting in a circle sunset effect around the spectator. Your location will determine how long the total eclipse lasts. The closer you are to the eclipse's center line, the longer you can witness its total phase. According to GreatAmericanEclipse.com, the eclipse will make landfall on Isla Socorro, which is 600 kilometers from the Mexican mainland. The total solar eclipse first appears on the mainland near Mazatlan, Mexico. In the United States, the totality path will begin in Texas. It will pass through the main cities of San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, and Fort Worth. Texas will attract a large number of eclipse chasers due to its ideal weather conditions and huge highway system, which are critical for any last-minute movement to places with clear sky. The totality will then move across Hot Springs and Little Rock, Arkansas. Carbondale, Illinois will experience its second total solar eclipse just 7 years after the 2017 eclipse. In the Midwest, significant cities in the line of the complete eclipse include Indianapolis, Dayton, Toledo, Cleveland, and Akron. The metropolitan regions around the path include St. Louis, Cincinnati, Detroit, and Pittsburgh. Many people in the Northeast will be drawn to Niagara Falls. Other cities along the route include Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, and Burlington. The entire path will traverse through Ontario and Quebec before continuing to the maritime provinces of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Labrador. According to TimeAndDate.com, around 652 million people, or 8.19% of the world's population, will witness the eclipse, with approximately 44 million falling within the path of totality. Keep an eye out for the stars and planets that will appear during the complete solar eclipse's brief period of darkness. Jupiter will show brightly to the left of the Sun, while Venus will be to the right. As you go closer to the horizon, you may notice Saturn and Mars in close proximity. However, detecting them may be difficult because they are much fainter than Jupiter and Venus. In addition to the usual stars and planets, we may see a celestial visitor during the complete eclipse. It's Comet 12P Pons-Brooks, also known as the Devil Comet. The coming comet is twice as large as Mount Everest and will be visible in the spring of 2024. This comet, discovered in 1812, orbits the Sun approximately every 71.2 years. Although the second part of April is not the best period to observe the comet in the nighttime sky, it may be seen when the Moon totally covers the solar disk on April 8th. If it is bright enough, it will appear between Jupiter and the Sun, but closer to Jupiter. We will provide a detailed video on how to recognize Comet 12P Pons-Brooks in the coming weeks, so subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to stay updated. The third contact will occur following the totality. It is the moment when the Moon begins to move away from the Sun's disk, revealing the dazzling photosphere once more. Returning sunlight obscures the corona as well as any apparent chromosphere or prominences. The environment gradually brightens, temperatures return to normal, and animals resume their daily activity. The diamond ring effect can be seen again at this point shortly after the last sight of the corona, which marks the conclusion of the eclipse's most magnificent phase. Finally, the fourth contact signals the end of the solar eclipse, when the Moon's shadow entirely exits the Sun's disk and no longer obscures the Sun. The abrupt return of sunshine seems almost dreamlike. This brief voyage from day to night and back again creates an indelible impression on your thoughts, a gentle reminder of the fragile beauty of our life in the great cosmos. Alright folks, that is all for today. Thanks for watching.